Hi, my name is Cheri, and today I am trying a different kind of card, and I'm also trying my new iPhone 11, which I'm filming not upside down, but backside, so I can see nothing. I'm gonna, I think maybe later try it with my iPad so I can see, but this is a whole new thing. So maybe my video will look super fantastic because it's a great camera, or maybe it's going to look not good at all because I can't see what I'm doing. So we'll see. But this is a fun little card, completely different. I had a kind of surgery procedure earlier this week, so as I was sitting and, you know, waiting in the hospital bed, I was thinking of some different kind of stuff that I could maybe try. So this is one of the ideas that I thought I wanted to play with. Two things. I wanted to play with the pigment sprinkles and kind of use them on some Christmas cards, which in the past when we had the brush shows, the colors were a little bit more aimed towards like fall cards and maybe a little bit more Christmassy. And I also wanted to kind of mix them with some stuff. So I mixed with them, I played with them yesterday, and then I was gonna back up and do some photography, but when you play with the pigment sprinkles, it makes a mess. And so then I just started cleaning up, and my hands are filthy because the pigment sprinkles are on the table from playing with them yesterday. So I have, instead of cleaning up, I've just left my table kind of a pigment sprinkle mess, and my hands now from trying to clean up are messy. So we're just gonna go backwards from what my day was planned, and I'm gonna show you a little bit what I've done. So this is, like, I messed with trying to get them on these and kind of just played with them. So sometimes just play. If you're playing with pigment sprinkles, you might want to put some stuff down. But I was still not feeling great post-surgery, so I thought that I would just play. So my desk was a mess. So here's the card I came up with. It's super fun. I think sometimes, you know, there's some people I send Christmas cards to that are single guys and now older, or like when my father-in-law was alive, you know, and you don't want something that looks super masculine. And they also happen to live in Australia, these some of the guys that I send the cards to. So this card to me is kind of, it's not a traditional looking Christmas card, but you're going to see that you can easily switch it up to be a birthday card too, because you could switch out the Christmas tree and the words and put a balloon or a flower or something and make it be a birthday card. So I have Whisper White, and then just a black layer background, and then the white piece that I'm going to put here. I've used the Merry Christmas to All bundle, which is not a bundle any longer, but it's the stamps and dies. So the only actual stamping that's going to be on the outside of the card. Then you could stamp anything you want on the inside. But I've got the little Christmas here. And I'm just going to stamp it here because I'm going to cut it out. Well, maybe I missed the C. Yes, I did. Well, you know, sometimes when you stamp way over and don't put your head over the top. This is also going to be, I think we're going to do this just because it's super fun. And I may also put a birthday option out for them at October camp. So if I do a birthday option, I may, after I film this, I may do a birthday option, and then I'll have the picture of that on my website so you can see that as well. So I'm just going to trim this out. I'm not going to use the paper trimmer, although our new paper trimmer is coming. But stuff like this, I don't get hung up, especially because it's going white on white. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. If you just trim it, because it's way faster to just do it like this. And it's good enough. So there we just have a little Merry Christmas. And I don't want to cover up a lot of my background with extra white paper because the background's going to be the centerpiece of this card. So I just want the word Christmas to show. Okay, so now to do the focal point of our card, here's what we're going to do for this card. You're going to take your pigment sprinkles, and it's been a minute since we've worked with them. So you know this, they have little screw tops. My tops are off because I did play with them yesterday, and every time you touch them, you know, it just gets more of a mess on your hands. So at camp, when we use them like this, I don't have them pop the thing back down until we're all done because, you know, you don't want to touch them. And I haven't done anything special to mine. You just tilt it not quite 90 degrees and just tap, because the idea is to get as little as possible on here, but get some. So once they start coming, because you don't want too much. So I'm gonna go from the, this is Gorgeous Grape at the bottom. I'm trying not to also get a shadow in here, but I think it's kind of a gray day out. Yesterday it was like 100, and today it's gonna be kind of gray. It's not supposed to rain here. Okay, I'm gonna have to tilt it more. I should have tilted it with the lid on. There we go. So today we're ushering in fall in Indiana. It's been in the 90s. I got my car the other day. It was 102 on Monday. And now this is Bermuda Bay. And I'm just, oops, see, that one was ready. And again, I'm just putting as little as possible. And once you have a squish like that, that's enough. And then this is Granny Apple Green. So today is our fall is coming from Illinois. It was supposed to get here a little faster, I think. I think it's stalled over Illinois. And then tomorrow it's going to be in the 60s. So that's how we do weather in Indiana. We go from one extreme to the other. I'm going to add some Melon Mambo on this card. I did not on my original sample, but I thought there was room to squish in one more color. And see, got a lot there. And here's another little tip for you, because I have a lot of these colors. On this one, I'm going to start over here. And then this is, I think, mango. There is also a daffodil, but I don't need two yellows. And even though I started over there, I still got it. So now I'm going to take our Snowfall Accents paint, give it a good shake while the lid's on. Don't shake this with the lid off, or else you'll have snowfall all over everywhere that you just shook it. And I'm going to start up here. I'm going to flip it around. You want to start where your colors were the lightest. And kind of go through one color at a time. So here's the yellow. And once you kind of have that, then move it to the Mambo. And now we're going to go to the Granny Apple. And now we're going to go to the Bermuda Bay. And now to the Gorgeous Grape. And you want to try to get most of the little brushy things that are on here, because there's nothing else that's going to secure it to the card, because we're not getting this card wet, and you know it needs some kind of fluid. And now once they're kind of like mixed, just pull some of them out to the edges. And then you do need something to wipe this off, which I did clean my desk off, so I took all of the little Kleenexes that I had here. It is best, I have found, when you have pigment sprinkles kind of laying on your work surface, to not use something wet. Like if you use a wet wipe, all you do is smear it everywhere. So it's better if you use a tissue or something dry. Okay, I'm gonna hold this. Does that look just not like you've got some 80s Stranger Things going on? As a child of the 80s, I can say that. Now you need something, you can use your bone folder, you can use your take your pick, you can use a paper piercing tool, but something just to kind of hold it down. Actually, I'm gonna let this sit for a second. You can see I got quite a bit there. It's kind of running. I'm gonna let it sit just for a second. Oops. If you are doing these and you have like 10 minutes and you want it to dry just a minute, because you can tell where it's running. Look how beautiful that is. Then it won't blow as much as it starts to settle. So we'll do our die cutting. So I have the Happy from the Merry Christmas bundle, and then this is from, oh, I did look it up, but I looked it up yesterday. It's from the, I'll put it underneath. It's from the new, I never bought the set that was Everybody Had, and it retired last year. It's from the new one of those, the New Nature set. But I just have the die from it. And I'm gonna run both of these through at once. This is on the black foil. And this is just on Silver Glimmer. And you can see it's a modern colored card, all of the stuff. There's nothing on this that screams traditional, because there's no colors of pigment sprinkle that are traditional. Even if I just went red and green, the Mambo and the Granny Apple are not traditional. The Bermuda Bay probably gives the most traditional peacockish look, but there's no red to go with it. So the fun thing about this tree is that all of the little leaves pop up. It's a real fun tree. It was new last year, So I have a couple of videos from last year where I used it. Whoops, and I just dropped my words on the floor. Oh, I don't know, something must have been stuck. Yeah, something was stuck to the bottom. I'm like, all my dies are here. So it's just going to be, it is kind of an 80s card, but it is great if you're trying to go something that's just a little different. When they stick your card up on the mantle, it's not going to look like everybody else's, that's for sure. And it's fun if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, someplace where you know it's not snowy, and you're going for something that isn't a traditional looking snow scene, because this gets a Christmas tree on it. And it's an evergreen, but it isn't a traditional looking one. Okay, now you can see it's already set up just a bit. You can see this is almost dry too. In fact, where's my other thing where I showed you? When I tried to paint with these, it dries so fast that by the time I had made a little bit of paint palette to paint these in with the pigment sprinkles and the puff paint, by the time I got to the end, the little palette that I'd made about this big was already dry. So that's how fast it does dry. And I'm a pretty fast painter. So again, you're going to heat one area at a time with just your heat tool. The paper can burn. I have one of my little things from mine. So you don't want to heat it any longer, and it's not going to puff the way that the snow necessarily looks, because now it's been spread out. Any place right here where it's got more, it might. So I'm going to go through in the places where it's kind of still runny. I'm going to try to set those so it doesn't bleed into the other places. And then you just want to set it. And it gives it texture, and you can see where there is, like where there's a bunch of the stuff, and it puffs up, it does take away a little bit of the color, and where it's been spread really thin, the color stays nice and strong. I've had people ask me about sending this through the mail. When we had puff paint in the past, as long as it was cool, which I never make a card and send it straight out to the mailman, as long as it was cool, it held up fine. Because once it's dry, it's hard. I'll show you on my other. I don't know where. Oh, there. I don't know where I put my sample card from before. I was so worried about getting my new phone set up. Oh, I see it. It's over on my paper trimmer. This part actually also reminds me, we've been to Iceland. It also reminds me a little bit of some of the art there, and you know, when you live in snow a lot of the year, finding the beauty in the color in the snow. So how pretty is that? So I think that if you just let it dry, which I may do another one and just let it dry flat and then heat it at the end, the longer it the longer it dries on its own, the less it will puff. So I'll come back and heat that in a minute once it's sat there. And it will smash because it's not all the way set. And you can see on my table how much, I'm gonna put this back, otherwise the back of my white card. Let me just get a new piece actually. I don't want the back of my white card to be purple. Okay, now we just have to mount all this together. This is actually a really fast card. So let's put this piece here. And then it's kind of up to you. Decide like kind of where your best or your prettiest piece of I'm going to go back once this is all the way set, and then you can kind of lift these pieces up and get, you just want to make sure all your corners are flat. Now, decide where you want your tree to be. Like I kind of like this little piece, but I kind of like that too. So do you want your tree in the middle? My other tree is over here because I kind of smeared this little part and I didn't like that at all. Or do you want to go this way? And all of your cards can be different if you're making more than one, because this kind of looks kind of like that. Or, you know, nobody says that your card has to go like that. If your first one did, you can always turn it that way. So just decide how you kind of like it. I think I'm going to go here. And then for this tree, you can see these little things poke out here, which is fun because you're going to be able to see some of the color underneath. So take your tiny dimensionals and stick them on some of the loops that are popping up, but not at the bottom of them. You want them at the top so they'll stick up. You want to make sure that you don't catch any of the other ones, like that one. You don't want to catch any of the others. All these off. Sometimes I don't remember if I got them or not. Does it happen to anybody else? And then again, before you put it on, just kind of pull these up. And I start with the top. Stick that one on. And then don't press hard on it. You kind of take these. And the ones that have them, like that one has one, the ones that have them, as you open it up and push them down, you can kind of grab it. And this will leave them flipped up even when they go through the nail, because that little dimensional is just underneath there. And again, because you can see, you probably can't see it yet, but I'll get a picture when I put it on my website. So hop over there and you can see the still picture, and I'll try to hold it up. But you can see the color underneath those. And you don't have to pop every last one of them up. I do try to get most of them. There we go. So just mount this on here now. And then we've got our happy. Make sure you get all of the, I went with Happy Christmas because this will likely end up going to Australia. And a tip for these is to stick them on something like this or on the little silicone mats. And then it will resist all of that and you can lift it right up. Now you can see why I didn't want a whole lot of border around my Christmas, because any place that was extra white was just going to cover up some of the pretty color. And instead of having ugly white cardstock just as a border, a little bit straight right there. But this is going to cover up some of my yellow. Just kind of fit it underneath so it works a little bit under. I'll lay this down and I will run and get my other one so I can show you how it's harder. I take this stuff over to my paper cutter to cut paper, and then, oh, and I forgot to put the star on my tree. But you can see this is hard. Like, I'm pressing it as hard as I can and it's not squishing. So I do like the addition of a little bit of the Mambo. And then these are our ice, clear and ice, I think they're called, embellishments. So just add one of those to the tree top, which then it goes from a nature just tree to a pretty Christmas tree. So there you go. It's a fun twist on a Christmas card. And then with this, like I said, just get something wet and just get the top off. It doesn't get anything down in your puff paint. It all stays on the top. So I hope you enjoy that. It's always fun to try something new with some of our embellishments and try to play around with them and get a new look from something like that. So I hope you enjoy that. Everybody have a great day. Bye.